Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Dear Jill. How are we all?
I am good.
Are you?
I am good. Well, to be honest, I haven't been good in the week.
Have you not?
I have a bit of a week. And full of emotion, full of stress, full of lots of things going on, lots of plates spinning.
Right, yes.
One of those weeks.
Yeah, I know those weeks, yeah.
So, to get myself through that, one thing that I've tried doing slow your voice down, slow the whole process down, and it works to a point. To a point that I need to just go and do something.
Yes.
Do something. So it's worked to a bit.
Yeah.
One thing that I've decided to do, and because I'm an organised freak, it's sort of taken over my life a bit, is make playlists for every mood that I experience in a week. Right. So on my phone, I have Spotify or whatever you use, and I've made a playlist full of angry songs, sad songs, songs that make me want to sing along, and honestly, it has changed my week.
So let me ask you this. If you're angry, do you want to listen to a playlist that makes you angry, or would you put the soothing playlist on? Like, would you counteract the playlist, or do you go with the mood?
So angry songs for me aren't really like, it's like drum and bass.
Yeah.
It's more like songs that I can just sort of sing my heart out to.
Yeah, just belt
at full power.
Give it the full Broadway.
I feel like that's sort of soothing in me as well.
Yeah.
So I have been proper. I had a sad playlist on in the car, cried my eyes out on purpose.
Nice.
Lovely.
So cathartic.
Yeah.
Love that.
So what I wanted to ask you was, do you have playlists, or have you got a song that makes you go,
Well, do I have playlists? No, because I'm far too lazy to make a playlist. I'd rather just go and just press all the buttons all the time and not listen to even one song fully. Do I listen or sing like to get an emotion out, or because I'm feeling frustrated all the time? In fact, I find just singing at the top of my voice incredibly cathartic, and it can't be good for my neighbours. But I've started to care just less and less and less. And my son does it as well. He'll just be in his bedroom and he will sing at the top of his voice. And I love it, because when you sing like that, it is just a release, isn't it? You can't really hold on to anything else, because you're just letting this sound out. It's a bit like when an animal roars. You're just kind of roaring, aren't you? So I love that. Do I have a song? Right, well, any Adele song is a great song for me to just get, some kind of pain out, I love a bit of All I Ask. Do you know that one?
You have to do a little.
Oh, the key change at the end. It's a struggle.
Okay,
it's a struggle, but I'm sure it doesn't sound pretty. I also like, if I'm feeling really brave, to put on like the karaoke versions of the songs I like. It's like, get Adele out the way. You're not singing with me, just me now.
It's my turn.
And then you hear your own voice and you're like, oh dear God. Oh God, it's better with Adele.
That's what I like in the car, that I put it so loud that it just drowns me out. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. Pull up at a red light, they look at me going, she's.
Yeah, you see that, but you're like, but I'm mid-song and I cannot stop. And I don't want to stop for you, even though I know people are looking at me. But yeah, I think music is unbelievably cathartic. I love it. And I probably more and more these days, if I'm being really honest, because when I was younger, I think I felt a bit embarrassed that the music that I liked was not very cool. So I would go clubbing a lot when I was younger, rave and things like that. And in all honesty, I'd be there like dancing, 2:00 in the
Feeling
morning, just thinking, God, I wish there was some lyrics. God, I wish there was some lyrics. I really would love to have some lyrics. I'd love a melody. But now, musicals and divas, that would be the kind of songs that I would put on to just let it all out.
Nice.
Don't Rain on My Parade. That's a good one to sing when you...
Yeah. Music. I've got a musical.
Don't tell me.
She's off. Get it on film. I've been songs that make me feel something as well. When you're feeling nothing, you don't want to do anything, you've doom scrolled forever. Something that just honestly, Gangnam Style. You can't be happy listening to Gangnam Style. You can't.
Wow. God, could I do that?
Don't know any of the words, but I'll try.
You just go, it's just the music.
Yeah.
Jai Ho, remember that song?
Yes.
Now that's a song that I have to say, as cheesy as it is, it just kind of gets you out of your funk. I love it when she starts going like, there's a reason to believe. I'm like, oh yeah, go on, Nicole, sing it. Sing it, girl.
I'm totally with you. I love it.
Yeah.
So that's been, honestly, if you need to feel something.
I'll ask for your playlists. Yeah.
Don't want you judging them.
I'll be like, Emma.
Gangnam Style on repeat.
I'm feeling really depressed. Send me one of your playlists to cheer me up. Or to cry to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Good for you though. This is the thing, isn't it? Finding what works for you. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter that you do something different to someone else. It doesn't. Who cares? It's just what works for you. That's the most important thing. Just getting to know yourself, isn't it?
It is, and I've definitely got to know myself and my awful voice recently. Oops. Should we get into the podcast
Yes,
then?
please.
My name is Amanda. My dilemma is that my partner eats meat, and that is absolutely fine, but I don't, and he didn't eat meat because his previous partner was vegetarian, and I would never ask him to go to change his diet or anything for me, but am I wrong to be bothered that he didn't eat meat for her? What do you think? Any advice would be appreciated. Thank you very much.
Oh, Amanda. Yeah, I think the short answer is yeah. You know, he can eat what he wants. That's the short answer. And I think that if he ate meat with his previous partner, it wouldn't bother you at all. So I think the issue here is nothing to do with the meat eating. The issue here is, did he do more or did he sacrifice more for another partner than he does for you? And he's with you. He's not with her. You're together. You have a partnership, a relationship, hopefully trust and love. What he put on his plate in a different time of his life with a different person is been and gone. It's not worth you even giving it another thought. I understand where it's coming from. There's a little bit of jealousy there, and am I not enough? And, you know, did he want to do more for her? But it's irrelevant. It's all gone, and you're together now, and it would be such a crying shame for you to waste any more time thinking about something he might have been or might have done in a time gone by and not enjoying your time with each other now. I'm vegetarian, and my partner eats meat. And you know, it's not a problem for me. I know you said it's not a problem for you. You wouldn't get them to change the diet, but I wasn't always a vegetarian. I don't know what the future holds for me with that. I may well start introducing things. I don't know. I just think that we all evolve all the time as people. And he might have thought, you know what? Why did I give up something that I really liked in a relationship in order to, I don't know, prove something? I shouldn't have to prove that I love someone because I'm not eating something that I like to eat. Maybe you make him feel like he doesn't have to do that. Maybe you should say that as a really good sign that you don't make him feel like he has to prove anything. Yeah, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time thinking about it. Just enjoy what you've got.
Another thing I'm learning, vegetarian.
Yeah.
Why?
So about 7 years ago now, I went from being full meat eater to vegan. Just went. And I stayed vegan for about 2.5 years. And it was a combination of, I'd read an article about climate change, and I just thought, what am I doing? Or what can I do to help? And in this article, it was like, hey, it could help if you cut out, meat. That would be a really, really good way to help the world, to help the climate, to help the environment. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just do that. And of course, I just always go too far, I think. And I just thought, well, I'll be vegan then, and then I feel like I'm really doing something. And it's really hard to explain because people get very niggly about vegetarian, vegan, and, oh, you eating them, I eating that, and did you wear leather shoes? And they really get on my nerves about it. So judgy, like people should just be able to do what they want. But the simple fact was that if somebody cooked me a beautiful vegan meal, I would happily eat it all day, every day. But for me to make a beautiful vegan meal just required a little bit more effort. And when I was on set, especially when I was filming, the caterers will cater for you to a certain extent, but a fully vegan menu, certainly at the time, was not always available. It's probably getting a little bit better now on set, I would say. Certainly vegetarian. So then, yeah, as time went on, I just thought, you know what? I'm really struggling. I think I'm probably going to introduce some dairy again. And once I started putting milk in my tea, then you go, maybe I'll have a bit of Edam. Once you have a bit of Edam, you know, it's a kind of spirals like that. But weirdly, I still haven't got to the point where I would eat meat regularly. If my partner was eating a dish in a restaurant and he was like, this is amazing, I would taste it if it had meat in it, because it's not, I never stopped eating meat because of the ethics of eating an animal. It was a bigger picture. And now, in all honesty, I don't know where I'm at with it. I have this awful feeling of like helplessness, as if like, am I really doing any good here? Am I really helping the world? Like, what am I thinking? Like, it's not a good place to be mentally, but I do struggle. Have you ever?
I occasionally do like a veggie month.
Uh-huh.
My mum is vegetarian and has been since she was 19.
Right.
My boyfriend is vegetarian, so if I'm in the house or cooking with them, it's always veggie because I'm not getting 2 pans out and washing that. Yeah. No way. But if I'm in the house, it's veggie. So the only time I eat meat is outside of the house or when I'm having a dirty takeaway. But I love animals. I'm a big lover of animals, but I do have that disconnect.
Yeah.
And as you say, it's about taste and that sort of thing. So I would feel like I was missing out. I've tried and I do my bit every so often. So I think, well, I've had a month without it, so I've done something.
So if your mum's been vegetarian since she was 19, what's like your mum's go-to veggie meal?
Ooh, it's always like, it's something like cheesy and pasta, halloumi.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she's obsessed with halloumi. Oh, it's a problem in the house. There's so much halloumi all the time. What do you want for take halloumi? Like, did you not get bored of halloumi? And that's one thing I would do, is get bored.
Get bored. I know. It's you can. I'm not the greatest cook at all. I'm very, very average. I can kind of do stuff, but I'm not very inventive, and I'm not. You know how some people are just very like natural and spontaneous. Well, if we have that, it'll probably go with that.
Team up well with the
flavour.
flavour.
That spice will work. I don't really have that natural ability to know what goes with what. So, yeah, I'd say my eating habits are a little bit boring. That's why I eat out so much, because I love food being cooked for me. I'll try anything, you know, I love it. But when I'm at home, I'm like, should we just have an omelette?
So, no, what's your veggie thing to cook? What's the dish?
It would be like the quickest veggie meal I could cook that I would really enjoy would be like egg fried rice. Because I'm obsessed with rice. When you put an egg in rice, it's the best thing ever. And then chuck some frozen peas in.
Boom.
I mean, I can do it in like 5 minutes flat.
But do you not have anything on it? Just rice?
Like loads of soy sauce or chili sauce or something. I know, honestly, it's really, really dull and boring, but I could eat rice all day, every day. I could eat it I wouldn't complain. I love it so much.
I'm a celebrity, get me out of here, doddle.
Exactly. They're all like, the rice again. I'm like, ooh, rice again.
Keep the ostrich whatever.
Exactly.
I'm having this.
You can keep your crocodile penis.
I'm having
the rice.
I lost my mum in August 2024, and my employer showed like literally no empathy. I returned to work and they have been so unsupportive, which has led me to be off work since October. I don't know what to do. My mental health has really suffered in their treatment of me, and I would just love some advice.
Well, first of all, I'm really sorry that you've lost your mum. That's incredibly sad and stressful. I don't know why an employer would be so unsympathetic towards that. I think the only thing you can do then is go to your doctors and say, "Look, I'm struggling. I'm really struggling. I don't think I will be any good to anybody at work. So right now, I need to, go on the sick for a couple of weeks and try and get my head in a better place." And just explain that to your boss and just say, I really don't think I'm even good to be around in the workplace right now, let alone like my output of work is going to be any good. But it is, I think, when you're in pain and you feel like somebody else either doesn't understand you or is treating you unfairly, I think it hits you in the gut so much more because you're already in this unbelievably vulnerable state and you just can't comprehend why somebody wouldn't treat you in the way that you feel like you need to be treated. But I suppose the facts of the world are that not everybody does. So you go to your doctor and then go back to your employee and just say, this is how it's going to have to be because I just really don't feel well enough to be here. But I'm so sorry. It's so difficult to have to deal with something like that whilst you're also devastated by the loss of your mum. But I really hope you can work something out. It's all very complex, isn't it? But yes, yeah, good luck with it.
Dear Jill, I should start with a little backstory for this. My mum died from stage 4 breast cancer in September 2023. My friends were absolutely fantastic at looking after me. I was 26, my mum's main carer, and I found her body, so it was absolutely traumatic. They all travelled to my hometown to be with me, and one let me move in for a week, so I had somewhere to stay, as I used to live with my mum. For the first year, they were brilliant at checking in and letting me vent and talk about my mum. As we enter further into the second year of grief, they've stopped asking. I can no longer vent as no one replies. I feel I can't talk about my mum anymore because everyone else has moved on and I'm still stuck. It's hurting me massively that my friends are perhaps not as supportive as they were. To add to this, my brother died in a car crash in December 2024, and I haven't even told my friends yet. My question for you is, how do I approach this with my friends? I feel like if I confront it, they'll tell me I'm being stupid, so I've just ignored it for now. What do I do? I feel very alone on this grief process. I have also started a stressful university course, so trying to juggle the stress from the course and the grief is incredibly difficult when you have no one to talk to.
I'm not sure if people forget and stop talking about it. I just feel that people just your loss does not become a priority in their lives, or they're not thinking about it as much. And I really relate to you when you describe that, because I know that feeling of a drop-off point. In the first year, I think everyone's very aware. There's a lot of firsts, there's the first anniversary, and then after that, it's less significant to other people. But I don't think it's out of malice or unkindness or because they don't care. I think you're absolutely right. I think people just start to live their lives get busy again, and you're just not at the front of their mind as much as you were. And I honestly think that you just have to talk to them, and you just have to say, you were such a comfort to me in that first year. I don't know what I would have done without you. And I understand that you can't be there for me at all times. You all have lives to live. But would it be okay if I could start talking to you again about it? Because I actually still feel like there's things I need to say. And of course, you want to talk about your brother, because you can't keep that to yourself. That's, that's really traumatic. But I think just opening up to even one of them, just one of them, maybe one that you trust more or get on with the most, and just say, I've been feeling like really lonely, and I've been feeling like I really have nowhere to turn. So try that. And then also, I think I've said this before, but it's worth saying again, because it's worth reminding people. I think that a lot of people don't understand grief until they're experiencing it. And I mean that sort of, those deep traumatic losses. So what you could do is reach out to grief support groups, because then you're going to be with people who you don't need to explain this to. You're going to be able to talk to people who might have lost somebody 20 years ago, but are still struggling to this day with how to live with that. So I think it might be worth you reaching out and talking to people and connecting with people. I mean, social media is unbelievable for that. And just try and feel less alone, because what I really, really don't want you to do is just close up. I don't want you to close up and stop talking about it, because that's going to have far more nefarious consequences later on. You really just keep processing, keep talking. It's fine. Just be honest. Be as vulnerable as you can and be honest. And sometimes when you feel rejected, sounds like you're feeling a bit rejected by your friends, you can have a tendency, right then, I won't say anything, because they should know, right? They should know how I'm feeling, but it's not the case. And I think it just takes a really honest, vulnerable, open conversation with a friend, just to say, I am struggling. I'm really, really struggling, and I need your help. Are you able to help me? I think you'll be amazed at people's reaction to that. Sometimes people just need reminded. I mean, I've had situations before where, 5-6 years after losing my partner, I've said to somebody, I'm still struggling. They're like, why? Because to them, it's like, it's 5 or 6 years gone, and you're fine, and you're working, and you seem all right, and it's like, it's hard to explain to somebody sometimes that doesn't mean to say the struggle doesn't go away. Life does go on, but the struggle will always be there. You just find different ways to deal with it. So always be honest and open. That's always my advice. I think that you might be surprised at some of the reactions from your friends, and hopefully it will open up new avenues for you.
I just want to add to sort of the fact of, they feel that they're maybe stuck in one place where everybody else is moving forward. And you said about social media and stuff. And one thing that gets to me personally, I feel like I'm very much a coper, if that makes sense. And I have lost people, I have been through loss, but I feel like, as you say, life goes on, but the grief's still there. One thing that I really always pick up on is, when there's an anniversary of a death, or there is something that's happening, and people go to Facebook and they go, put a picture of them on with their loved one, and having missing you 2 years since you've passed. I think about you every day. I then feel guilty because I haven't thought about my loved ones every day. Sometimes I don't think about them for however long, and then I think, oh, have I moved on too much that I've sort of eradicated it from my brain?
I mean, I very much think that it depends what your relationship with the person that you've lost is, because some people are very, very, very close to nanas and grandas. I loved my nanas and grandas, but I didn't live my life in their house all day, every day, like some people do. So when I lost them, it was really sad. But what it didn't do was affect my day-to-day living. So I can be really sad about that loss, but it's not I always imagined I would, do this with Nana, or I always imagined Granda would be there when this happened. Some people will have that experience, but not for me. So I do think there's different levels of losing people. It's not a competition. That's not what I'm suggesting. I'm just saying that the potency and the amount that somebody is in your life probably has quite a big effect on then how you go on to cope or deal with the grief of that person. it may be, and I hope it never is for you, but it may be that if you lost somebody that felt very integral to your life, it may be that you didn't have a day that went by that you didn't think about them. So I would never feel guilty about that. And I never think the person that's gone ever wants us to think like that. They're like, live, go, enjoy, love, laugh, all of that. But for some people, the holding on is the fear of letting go, the fear of who they might be without that sadness. That's just, I think, another stage of the grief to go. You will not have forgotten them if you don't hold on to. You're allowed to let that go at some point because it'll always be with you. But it's very complicated, isn't it? The way we all deal with things and the things we think about. And actually, funny enough, a point that you make there about people putting posts like that on social media, I don't have a problem with that at all, as long as what I would hope is that the person is also talking to other people about it, because the post and just random people saying sorry, to me doesn't seem to touch the sides in the way that a conversation you and I could just sit down and have, like, I'm having a hard day today because it's this day and blah, blah, blah. It's like, really talk to someone, really talk to someone, look into somebody's eyes and have the conversation. Don't just go on social media because you want that instant gratification or you want an instant response. It's just something that I would say, just always make sure you're really properly connecting.
Let the post be a start.
Yes.
To say,
yes,
this has happened.
Yes.
I can't tell you straight away or whatever, but there's a little hint of how I'm feeling.
And then go out and have conversations where you're looking into somebody's eyes and you can feel their energy and you can hear what they're saying, and it's not, in a phone. Hi, Lucy.
Hi, Jill. How are you doing? Are you okay?
I'm all right. What's on your mind?
So, my dear Jill, dilemma is basically I've been experiencing quite a lot of self-doubt at the moment. And always feel like a little bit of an imposter within the work that I'm doing. Just for a little bit of context, I've been working as an artist for just over the last year. And I'm always on the go. I've been involved with exhibitions and I've got quite a lot of exciting things coming up. But just on the day-to-day, I always sometimes question what it is that I'm doing and feel like I'm never doing enough. So I would just quite like to pick your brains about if this is something you've ever experienced across your creative career and how you've managed to combat it, if possible, please.
Yes, I absolutely have. When you were growing up, what was the kind of general consensus in your household about artists?
I've never really, even now, I've never really been around anyone, even kind of self-employment and stuff. I've never been around anybody else who's done anything in a creative sense. It was always kind of supported. It was just do whatever makes you happy and whatever you want to do. But I've never really, that's sometimes why I feel a little bit lost, because I don't have anyone in my immediate who I can go, oh, do you have this? Do you experience this? Or do you feel this kind of way?
So I think that therein is like where the thoughts and the problem lies, because I really relate to that. So I had exactly the same. I was never, like, what I wanted to do was never had a negative reaction. It was always like, do what makes you happy, exactly what you said. But what I wasn't necessarily surrounded by also were like other creatives or artists. So until I started kind of working when I was a bit older, it was the first time I'd been involved with people who wanted to do this for a living, who took it seriously as a career. And I think that there's almost, for me, I don't know whether you can relate to this, but there's a feeling of a self-indulgence, like, oh, you're going to make money from like storytelling, from acting. You're going to stand up and someone's going to put makeup on your face and you're going to get paid to say the words on the page. It's almost like I have this weird voice, and I don't know where it comes from because it's not my parents, but I have this weird voice that wants to diminish what I do and wants to tell myself that perhaps I'm not working hard enough. Do you relate to that at all?
Yes, no, definitely. Even at the moment, I'm working with ceramics. So often I'm like, I'm just painting plate, is what I tell myself. And I'm like, it's not just that. And like you say, when you're around other artists and other people, you totally feel like it's credible to do it. And you're like, yeah, no, this is exactly what I should be doing. But it's like those days where I'll be at home on my own doing those things. And I just think, what on earth am I doing?
Do you know the artist Anthony Gormley?
Yes.
Right. So for our listeners, if anybody doesn't, you know, artist, sculptor, very famous for lots of things, but he obviously designed the Angel of the North. You know, one of our amazing sculptures that's up here in Gateshead. So I interviewed him for a program that I did, and he told me a story that made me understand this a little bit more. He said that he went to a school, I think he said it was in York when he was growing up, and it was ran by monks. And he said the idea of this school was that whatever a pupil wanted to do, they were told that what they wanted to do and what they were good at had value. He said, so if somebody went to that school and said they wanted to be a graffiti artist, what the monks would do would be to buy them a load of spray paint and say, right, that wall there, that's your wall, do whatever you want. If somebody wanted to be a footballer, they'd be like, here's a football, we'll train you, we'll do this. He said, so he was always led to believe when he was a kid that what he was good at, which was art, had a huge value, that it was really respected, and that they put a huge amount of time and effort into nurturing what he wanted to do. And I think maybe for you and I, and maybe for people listening, maybe that's like the missing link for us, that it's not that anybody stopped us from doing what we wanted to do. It's just that as we were growing up, even though people said, do what makes you happy, I don't know whether I was ever told that what I wanted to do had real value. I don't know whether anybody ever put a huge amount of time into what I wanted to do to make me feel like it was worth something. So our work, unfortunately, is to give ourselves that. You have to tell yourself that when you look at art and when you look at a ceramic that somebody's just done and you're filled with awe and wonder at this piece of art and it makes you feel so happy or you're amazed by what somebody can do, you have to give yourself that. You have to say to yourself, but I'm exactly the same as that next artist and the one next to me. Just because someone might be more successful or have more money than you, the art still has the same value, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But it is hard when you're trying to lead a creative life, because it's hard to, like when you're in a corporate world, you know, you start off at a certain salary, you do a certain job, you move up the ladder, you get rewarded. It's like very meritocracy, isn't it? Like you do a good job, you get a promotion. In the creative world, just you might do something amazing, but that doesn't necessarily move you on to the next amazing thing. So all the way through these transitions, you have to hold on to the fact that who you are and what you do is important. And I think that's like forever our challenge in any creative life like that. Like I say, unless you've had the upbringing like Anthony Gormley had, where he just doesn't question. He knows what he does has value. He really believes in himself. It's not to say that he never said it wasn't that he never had doubt. He just, everyone was so invested in him. And I just thought I couldn't imagine a more wonderful upbringing for a child, for someone to say the thing that you like and the thing that you're good at is really important.
Yeah. Honestly, thank you so much. It's 100% when you talk about us getting like to an existential crisis. That's me like every day. So just trying to find that ground of like where I don't feel that every day and I can just kind of get on with it, because I feel like that just sometimes puts a block up to even try to make the work, because then I'm already thinking about things I should be doing.
And that's an interesting point that you make, because there's a quote, isn't there? I'm not quite sure who it's from. It might be Marianne Williamson, but I could be wrong. But she's, you know, she talks about that and she's like, most of us are not scared of failing. Most of us are scared of our light, like what we're actually capable of. And I do wonder with any sort of creative, whether that negative self-talk about like, well, what's the point? And, you know, is there any point in me being here? And this is rubbish anyway. I do wonder whether that's just a way for you to stop yourself weirdly doing your best work.
Yeah,
And it's
definitely.
just like, just say to yourself, I'm going to get out of my own way today. I'm just
Yeah.
going to get out of my own way. All the thoughts that I have, I can't get rid of them. They will be there, but I'm not going to attach myself to them. I'm just going to let them be there. I'm just going to let them be my friends today. And I'm just going to get on and I'm just going to do my thing. And I'm going to enjoy doing my thing and not feel one bit of guilt or shame about the fact that this is what I've chosen to do with my life.
Yeah. No, that's 100%. I just think it's the guilt element. It's always feeling guilty, but not really knowing why you feel like what you're feeling guilty for, and just allowing it to just be, and just kind of being with your own thoughts of it as well. You know,
No,
definitely.
and it's so sad, isn't it, that you would actually feel guilty that you were doing something that you love. Like, that's what I mean about the way we've been brought up in the educational system that you've been in. I know it can't be right for everyone. It's kind of an impossibility, but for those of us who have chosen a creative path, I'm sure that school didn't necessarily serve us in the best way possible because we were sort of naturally going to go somewhere else anyway. So yeah, just try and reach out, make some friends in the creative community, call in here every week and we'll have a little creative chat at the end.
Yeah, no, definitely that would be fab. Just
And
keep
be
me going.
really proud. Be really proud. I'm sorry, but it's very brave to choose to do any sort of career path that doesn't guarantee you a job or money. It's really brave to put yourself out there and to go, I think I've got something. And then all of that self-doubt comes. So just, massive pat on the back as well.
No, thank you. It's even just talking to you now, I've gotten like a little burst of like, oh, it makes me want to go and continue on and make.
Good.
So yeah,
Keep
no, it's been brilliant. Thank you so much.
Keep creating. It's
yeah.
great.
No,
it's
it's
perfect.
been lovely to chat to you. And I really appreciate all of your help.
All right. See ya.
I'll see you later. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Talking about school, did you have to like choose what subjects you wanted to do?
Yeah.
What subjects did you choose?
Well,
Obviously,
again, like choosing your GCSEs, like it's like the best of a bad bunch.
Horrible.
It's like, oh, okay, I'll take theology because I like the teacher. I mean, I'll take, I don't know, history because, oh God, I don't hate the teacher.
I can put up with that.
I'll take biology because I like the blouses that my teacher wears, and I'm like, yeah, nice fashion choice. I mean, none of it sort of. All I knew was I was going to do GCSEs, I was going to do A-levels, and I was going to go to drama school. So at least for me, I was very lucky. I had a plan in my head that nobody else needed to know about, but I was like, that's the way it's going to happen. But we were not being sat down. I mean, when I sat down for my careers advice.
Oh, don't.
the woman like looked through our book and I said what I was interested in. She said, well, you could be a red coat at Butlins. And I just remember thinking there and then, feeling very alone, like, no, but like nobody gets this. Why? And it makes you feel a bit freakish. Whereas if we'd been in a school like Anthony Gormley, it'd be like, oh, that's what you want to do. Great. That's got real value. People love that. People want to hear story, just be a whole different way of thinking, I think.
I got taken back and said, oh, I wanted to go into audio, podcasting, radio, that sort of thing. And they went, that's a bit ambitious. And I was like, oh, is it? So that's what I got told. So, the advice lady, if you're watching now,
I'm horrified.
If you're listening right now.
I'm horrified.
Ambitious.
That's a bit ambitious.
Mm-hmm. And it didn't stop me because, again, I loved it. But again, when we talk about school, I did art because it was creative. I did media because it was creative. I did drama because it was creative.
Yeah.
I did PE because
you like moving.
I like moving about and, but that was always, they're not the proper subjects.
Mm-hmm.
Your English, your science, your maths are.
There's an amazing man called Ken Robinson. Hope I've got that right. And if anybody likes what we're talking about right now, watch his TED Talk. I think Ken is no longer with us, but his TED Talk is the most inspiring TED Talk I've ever heard on education, and it's all about creativity, and it's wonderful. And if he had been in charge of the education system, it would be a different story. Oh, well, thanks everyone. As always, just keep on being the most you can be. I think it's just the bravest and boldest choice, to just walk through the world, just trying to do the things that please you. So crack on, and we'll see you next week.